Welcome to the training for how to optimize your Google business profile listing for local SEO. Can you guys hear me now? I want to if somebody can just jump in and let me know if you're still have people are still having any issues hearing me or if everything is good. Um, Okay, great. Let's dive in. So, as I mentioned before, this training is being recorded as a bonus for the Ready, Set, Rank program. If you have to jump out before the ending of this, you will have access to this training within the Ready, Set, Rank program if you are a member. If you are not a member, you will get an email with access for limited time replay of this training. I am Darcy Sullivan, if we haven't met before, from Propel Marketing and Design, and I am going to give a quick and shameless plug for our podcast, the Clinic Marketing Podcast. We have dedicated several podcast episodes to specific topics regarding your Google business profile listing, ranging from those about how to handle reviews not showing up or bad reviews, and the Google business profile listing scam, which we will also talk about in today's training. In addition to talking about the Google business profile listing on the Clinic Marketing Podcast, we also can cover tons of other topics that might be of interest to you. So if you are interested, please do check that out. But for the reason we are here today, that is how to optimize your Google business profile listing. Your Google business profile listing is what used to be called your Google My Business listing. It also goes by other names, GBP, Google Business Profile Listing, GMB, for those that still call it by its old name, Google My Business, your Google listing, or your Google Maps listing. It's extremely important to note that your Google Business Profile listing is not the G plus. It's not Google plus. Google plus is dead. If you have the Google plus icon on your website, please remove it. It does kind of date your website and the fact that people are looking at it going, what is this? The analytics that are associated with your Google business profile are also different from Google Analytics. So analytics, or which are called insights in your Google business profile listing, are different from Google Analytics. We'll talk about that in a little bit as well. So today what we're going to cover is what is your Google business profile listing and why is it so important? That part we're going to go through pretty quickly just because I think everybody listening in knows why your Google business profile listing is so important. We're going to talk about how to optimize your listing. We're going to talk about new features. I'm going to share with you some tips, tricks, and common Google business profile listing issues. And we're going to talk about understanding the Google business profile insights. And again, a reminder, you will get limited time access to the recorded version that we will provide of this training. And if you have any questions that don't get answered during this session, if you are a member of the Ready, Set, Rank group, you can find us on Facebook and you can ask the questions in there. Now, if you need to contact Google for help, first you want to troubleshoot the issue on your own. But if you need further assistance, this is the URL that you're going to want to go to. And we'll reference this later or mention it later when we talk about issues with reviews or other issues that people have with their Google business profile. So what is your Google business profile? Well, your Google business profile listing is a free tool for business owners that allows you to be more accessible in Google Maps and in Google search. Is it SEO? Is it social media? Is it local SEO? Is it a website directory? Yes to all of the above. Your Google business profile listing controls the way that your business is showcased in the Google Maps section, which is very important for those near me searches. This is what we call the local pack. And if you click to look at more places under the local pack, that takes you to what we refer to as the local pack finder. And then within the local pack finder, people are able to pull up and look at more information about your business. And again, we also have Google Maps, which is what people are familiar with on their phone, right? The Google Maps app. And also we want to look at how you can see more detail within Google Maps as well about your business. So how do customers use Google Business Profile Listing? Well, they use it when they're looking for a business that is in their area. They also want to look at it when they're looking to see when a company is open, to get directions, to look at reviews, and to start to get to know a business. Very important. And I mentioned this earlier. We did a whole podcast episode on the fact that strangers, right? That's kind of scary, can go in and suggest and edit. So people are able to go in and suggest and edit for your business. And sometimes they will do this accidentally. They might do this maliciously. They might do it with the best intentions gone wrong. But a couple of months ago, we were seeing a number of companies that were really affected by this scam where somebody maliciously would go in and change or suggest an edit to the location of the business, listing it in a completely different city or state or region. So you do want to make sure that you keep an eye on your Google Business Profile listing. And we'll go through best practices to do this as we go through this, and also what to do if you were, in fact, somebody who fell apart to the scam. We'll talk about how to make that correction and how to stay on top of that. So how customers use this, they look to see the photos that are associated with your business. It allows them to access your website with ease, book appointments, and see what services you have, and they're able to ask and answer questions. Your Google Business Profile listing is extremely important in the world of a zero-click search. A zero-click search means somebody can find information about your business without even having to click through a listing or your website to find that information. Having your Google Business Profile listing makes it easy for people to understand information, again, about your business without even needing to visit your website. Now, how does Google decide what order to display the Google Business Profile listings? If you've joined one of these trainings that I've done before, this might sound familiar to you, but relevance, distance, and prominence have been factors for a long time. But this one's kind of important, and we're going to hone in on this for a couple minutes. A new ranking factor is openness, meaning that if I am on the side of the road and my car has broken down and I need a tow truck, if I go to Google and search tow truck near me, it's going to show me, it's going to prioritize the companies that offer that service that are open at that time. That is what openness means as a ranking factor. And while this can be annoying for a business, it makes sense for the end user. So let's say you're a clinic owner, which most people tuning in right now are, and your business is open on Monday from 8 to 6, on Tuesday from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m., and then you're closed for 3 hours, and then you reopen, and then you've got some variable hours throughout the week. You might want to consider adjusting the times that you're open. Now, for example, if I call my primary care doctor, their hours are always 8 to 6. They're not taking appointments from 8 to 9. They're not taking appointments during their lunch break, but they have their standard hours listed. So if you are a clinic owner and your hours are a little offbeat, if you will, keep in mind that somebody looking for a clinic of your type might not be able to find you as easily as they would find your competition if your competition's open during those hours. Does that mean you should be open or have a listing that says you're open 24 hours a day? No, not if you're not open 24 hours a day. Will it give you a little bit of a push against your competition if you're open extended hours that they are not? Yes, it might. But if you decide to change your hours, you need to make sure that every listing that you have also has matching time hours. So that means your website, your Apple Business Connect, your Apple Maps listing, your Bing listing, your Yelp listing, everything should match with the hours of operation that you have listed. So a combination of these factors helps Google find the best match when somebody's searching. So we talked about openness. We also have relevance. Relevance refers to that the service that somebody's searching for matches the service that you offer. And we'll get into how to optimize your listing for relevance here in a little bit. We also have distance, right? The closer, the better. And prominence. This refers more towards branding. So some places are just more prominent online and offline than other businesses. So that is something that you want to consider as well. Now, if I were standing directly outside of location A and they have an unoptimized listing compared to location B that has an optimized listing, even though in this example, I am standing directly outside of business A, I would be more inclined to do business with business B because they have an optimized listing. So while the goal, of course, is to be the top of the listings, it's also a good goal to have an optimized listing because you can tell the difference between an unoptimized listing and an optimized listing. And this is kind of blown up a little bit better for you to see, although it does look a little fuzzy. So this brings us to the question, how do you optimize your Google Business Profile listing? Well, first you want to claim your listing, verify your listing, and get rid of duplicate listings and consolidate those listings. Very important. I just said that you want to get rid of duplicate listings and consolidate listings. So this means if you have two business listings for the exact same location and exact same business, you want to consolidate those. How do you know which one to select? Well, usually it's the one that has the best reviews. Usually it'll be one has 100 reviews and one has 2 reviews. Easy peasy, get rid of the one that has 2 reviews. Now, something that people don't talk about that often is the fact that a doctor can have a separate listing from a company listing. A doctor listing is not considered a duplicate listing. So we've seen some issues specifically when it comes to this, when there have been team members, doctors, who have set up listings that were separate from a company, and then they left that company. And then the company is there frustrated and upset that that doctor, that provider still has a listing that they're promoting at that company's address. So when we had mentioned before, and we were talking about that scam that came about because people can go in and quote unquote suggest an edit. Literally, that's what you do. You suggest an edit for anybody's listing. If you have a former employee that has a listing that they are claiming is at your location, you do want to go in and suggest an edit for that. We've also talked to a number of clinics where if they are drawing up employee contracts, that they mention at that time that they can't have their own listings for the business so that they don't have issues with this moving forward. This is, again, something we've only really seen in the past, maybe like 6 to 8 months. So you do want to consider that as you're taking on team members. Once you have a listing that is approved, you can start to customize and maintain your information. You can respond to reviews, you can add images, and your business is twice as likely to be considered reputable. Again, that means going from an unoptimized listing to being able to now optimize your listing. So how do we do this? Well, we want to start by filling out every data point that is available. And to do that, you simply log in and you will see something similar to this that will allow you to access your listing. Now, we're going to break this down into 3 sections, 3 steps, if you will. The items on your Google business profile listing that you should complete right away, the items that take a little bit longer and a little bit more thought, and then ongoing efforts for maximum results. The aspects of your profile that you should complete right away include the company name, which should match your company name. We're not shoving in keywords for the sake of shoving in keywords. So if you are a chiropractor and the name of your business is Spine and Sport St. Louis, that would be the name of your business listing, not Spine and Sport St. Louis Chiropractic Care. We're not just shoving in keywords for the sake of shoving them in the name. You want to make sure that your address matches the address that Google has listed for you, that your phone number is added, that your website's added. And this is important, is you want to make sure that you have the HTTPS version of your website. We're seeing a lot of websites that were added in people's listings years ago, and they're the HTTP version because that's what they had years ago. So make sure that you actually have the correct URL that drives traffic to your website. You also want to select a category, and again, hours, and we talked about how important those were earlier when it comes to the openness ranking factor. And then you can start to go in and build out your listing. It's really important that your NAP, that's your name, your address, and your phone number, matches your Google business profile listing, but also matches other citations. Those are business listings throughout the internet. We want to make sure that we have an exact match for accuracy. And again, here in this example, we want to make sure that we are using the company name that is your actual company name, that we're not just shoving in keywords, because Google will come back to you for that if you do that, and you will get in trouble. And again, we want to make sure our listings on Yelp, Bing Business, Apple, all the other listings, and your website match with the information that you're providing Google Business Profile listing. Your address. If another business has your location listed, you want to make sure that you have the ability to use your address. So sometimes this might mean that you have to have the listing of Suite A or Suite B, but we want to make sure that the location listed is your actual address and that you have the rights to use that address. So what happens if you are a small chiropractor that's operating out of a larger gym? Well, you should still have access to use the address because, one, you have a separate phone number and you have a separate business tax ID number. Usually there will be more steps involved in getting approval, like showcasing imagery to Google that shows your signage and that you are legitimately a business in that location. If your location moves, you want to make sure that you update all of your online listings. And if you are a member of Ready Set Rank within the section called Ready Set Local, we talk in detail about how to do a citation audit and make sure that all of your listings online are correct. You can check out that section for specific details about that. If you can use a local phone number, that is slightly favored over a toll-free phone number, but obviously your phone number is what it is. The following are sections that take a little bit more time and thought. That would be your description, your category, services, attributes, products and services, service area, questions and answers, photos and videos. The description. You want to make sure that you use as many characters or take advantage of the fact that you have, I believe it's 170 characters. I might be mistaken, but that you use as many characters as possible in the description. Please, please, please use complete sentences. Sometimes we see a lot of Google Business Profile listings that only have a little description like chiropractor and physical therapy. Well, no, let's build that out. Let's focus on our keywords and use complete sentences. You want to ideally, let's say you're a chiropractor, you would say chiropractic clinic offering service A, service B, service C for name of location, and surrounding areas. So for instance, I'm in South Florida. I am located in the Boynton Beach area, so I might say that we provide services to Boynton Beach, Delray Beach, West Palm Beach, and surrounding areas. Again, focusing on your keywords and using complete sentences. This is one of the first times that your potential patients or customers are coming in contact with you. So we do want to make sure that our grammar is in check and we are using, again, complete sentences. I know it feels like I'm saying that a lot, but day in and day out, we're looking at people's Google Business Profile listings and we're seeing a lot of people are missing that. Next up, we have category. So you want to select the best category for your business. But if you can select a secondary category, your Google Business Profile listing is just going to perform better because people that are searching under the second category would be able to find you. Now, we're not making up ideas of categories for the sake of doing it, but let's just say you're a chiropractic clinic, but you also offer massage therapy. Well, then your primary listing or category would be chiropractor, and then you could add a second or even third category, and one of those could be massage therapist. Now, once you've selected the categories, you want to make sure that you have services that are associated with the categories. So in the example that I gave earlier about the two categories, chiropractor is the main category, and then massage therapist as the secondary category, we want to make sure that we have specific services associated with those categories and that we provide descriptions for them. Now, having looked again, day in and day out at Google Business Profile listings, what I see is either people don't have services listed, they have services listed, but they're not organized the way that they should be to correlate with the categories as they should, or that they've just listed 100 services. Now, if you're a chiropractor, a service is not back pain. Back pain is not a service. Chiropractic adjustment, that's a service. Sports chiropractic care, that's a service. Prenatal chiropractic adjustment, that's a service. And maybe for a massage therapist, maybe the only service that they offer is massage therapy. But again, you still want to add that specific service to the category and include a description. once you have selected your categories, you will have access to specific attributes that are associated. Now, this is one of those sections that I feel like Google goes in quite frequently and tries to make assumptions about your business. So you do want to make sure that you keep an eye regularly on updating your listing and making sure if Google's made any suggested changes, or if unfortunately somebody else has made any inaccurate changes or suggestions to your listings, that you've gone in and made changes. So for a lot of people listening, some of the important ones would be your accessibility. Do you have accessible wheelchair accessibility? How's your parking lot? This kind of information. You'll also see information from from the business. We want to make sure that we fill out all of that information. And also, if you have a link specifically to book appointments, you'll want to include that booking link. Your Google business profile photos. We did a episode on the Clinic Marketing Podcast specifically that goes into details about the photos for your listing, but you do want to include exterior, interior, photos of you at work, common areas, team photos, rooms, and you can even do graphics of testimonials. You just want to make sure that you are not using stock photos. That episode was number 75, how to optimize photos for your Google business profile listing. Some of those more specific photos of that we dive into in that episode of specific angles from the outside of your building can really help if you need to get additional verification for your listing through Google, having those prepared for you, prepared to submit as needed. Also, you do want to have a plan in place to continue to update the photos that you have. And there have been questions that have come in regarding user-generated content, UGC. User-generated content is content that people who either know you or think that they know you might upload. And this can be images, and those images kind of come in hot in the position that they take over in your Google business profile listing. So one example that I want to give here is there was a chiropractor that had a company come in, and the company that came in did work around their office, kind of structural work, maybe put down new floorings, did some stuff when the business really wasn't set up to be ready to go. And so those pictures were horrible, but they were the first pictures that were coming up because the handyman or whoever had done the project had gone in and taken pictures of the location and tagged them. So proud of their work. But again, it was like, oh, empty water bottles are sitting out, and it's just not looking like the best representation of the business. So if somebody uploads content like that, the best way to handle it is to personally ask them, hey, can you remove those photos? Because of the fact that they do come up right there in front and center, and sometimes aren't necessarily the best representations. Same thing happens if you've been part of a community event and somebody tags you in any of those images. You just want to keep an eye on those. Next section that I want to talk to you about is your Q&A section. This is something that's often overlooked, and you can start to ask questions and also answer them as a business. And you want to think of these as your most frequently asked questions. So you can ask the question and you can answer it. What you cannot do is include a URL link in the answer, but you can use the specific words, see our website for more detail. So you could say, do you accept insurance? We accept most insurances. Please visit our website for more detail. We want to make sure that we're providing people with the best user experience. So If your location is a little bit more difficult to find, this place, the Q&A, is a great place to take advantage of questions like, where should I park? Where are you located? If somebody needs to enter a building from the south side to get to your office with ease, you want that information listed here. Other questions could be, what services do you offer? What should I expect at my first visit? With the answer being something like, please arrive 5 to 10 minutes early for your visit, dressed in comfortable clothing. And this gives you time to check in and blah, 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 blah. Anyways, point being, for the Q&A, think of your most frequently asked questions, and you can put those in there with the answer. Those are just, okay, we don't care about that section. Okay. Then we have stuff that is ongoing. This is collecting your reviews, doing your Google business profile post, photos, which we've kind of already talked about, videos, and then questions and answers that customers or potential customers send in. You want to make sure that you have a plan in place to start collecting online reviews. And if you feel comfortable, you want to make sure that you're responding to both positive and negative reviews. Now, I have heard some clinics say that they have been told that for HIPAA reasons, they should not respond to any reviews. I am not a HIPAA specialist, so I can't tell you that. What I will tell you is Google likes it when you respond to reviews. If you feel comfortable responding to reviews, what you want to do is make it as easy as possible to respond to those reviews. So what I like to do is to open up a Google Doc, then go over to ChatGPT, and we'll give the example of a chiropractor here. Say, hey, ChatGPT, I'm a chiropractor. Please give me 25 responses for a Google review that somebody left about a positive experience with chiropractic care treatment, and save those. So then you've got like 25 geared towards that specific service. And then go back. Hey, ChatGPT, please provide me with 25 responses for somebody leaving a review, a positive review for massage therapy, Shockwave, any of the services that you offer, and then put them in a Google Doc so any of your team members can kind of just go in and copy and paste. And it sounds better than just being like, thanks, 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 thanks. Your help means a lot to us. It's an easy way to take less time for you to put together the responses, and they sound better. Now, if you get a bad review and it's fake, do not respond to it, report it. And this we already kind of talked about, making sure or using ChatGPT to come up with responses. Now, people sometimes wonder why their reviews aren't showing up. And again, we did an episode on this in the Clinic Marketing Podcast, but it could be because you have duplicate listings. It could be because the reviews are marked as spam, that they include a URL, that the person leaving the review is marked as private, or there are a number of other reasons. We want to make sure that reviews don't sound spammy or fake, that they sound like genuine reflections of people's experiences with your establishment, and that the review is not being posted to manipulate a place's rating, right? Also, if the exact same review has been posted before or on different dates, you might not see reviews showing up. Google for a while was saying too that they were going to get rid of displaying reviews that did not include any text content, that just included a star rating. They really haven't taken action on that, but there's no telling when they might decide to do that. Tons of other reasons, right? Your business listing is new, your business profile isn't accurate, the reviewer's account is inactive, your location has changed, the person didn't actually leave a review. That happens more than you would think. The review is from a current or former employee. Bad grammatic errors that make a review look fake. And if you are using a third party to collect reviews and you've noticed that they're not displaying that for some reason, you might want to try to collect them manually. We did an episode number 67 on bad Google reviews, how you can get it removed, and what to do when you can't. If you have an issue with that, that's a really good episode to listen to. Okay, inaccurate listings. We talked about this at the beginning, the Google Maps scam where people were going in and moving the map or changing the address. If you feel like this is happening to you, what you want to do is go in and first correct the edit by listing the correct address and then giving it 24 hours and seeing if it gets updated. This one's a little bit different, this comment here. Now, if you are located on a county line or a city line, you might want to go in and do a little wiggle of the map or adjust the pin so that it's slightly in a different location. So for example, and again, this is not going to pertain to everyone, but if you were on a city line and if you kind of move the pin a little bit closer to your parking lot, which is actually closer to the city that you want to rank in, you might see a little bit of a bump. Photos, we talked about these before. You do want to make sure that you're continuing to add photos to your Google Business Profile listing. Try to add, 1 or 2 a month if possible. Add that in your marketing game plan. These would be in the photo section, which is different than the post. Those are 2 separate sections of the listing. And people always ask, should they geotag their information? Do listings with geotags get higher ratings? No, don't bother wasting your time. Most of the data gets scrapped when it gets uploaded. So it's really not worth taking the time to do that. It's like a drop in the bucket of really what matters. And again, episode 75, we talked specifically in more detail about those images. Also, videos are great if you can shoot some short videos and add those to your listings. Okay, well, what if you get a rude question? Well, you want to report it. This is in that Q&A section. If you get a rude or weird question, just report it. Again, you can contact support in the section that we talked in that URL that we talked about at the beginning. And again, report anything rude. Don't answer anything offensive, and make sure that you do respond to questions as they're asked. We've seen tons and tons of Google Business reviews where people have gone in and asked legitimate questions and received no response. And obviously, probably the people that were asking decided to go with a different business because they didn't get their answers for the questions they were looking for. And again, anyone can ask and answer these questions. So you want to make sure that you're the one providing the response. You want to make sure that somebody malicious isn't going in and responding to any questions that somebody might have asked about your business. It's really sad that we have to have those conversations about people saying and doing malicious things, but unfortunately, it's the world we live in. So you do want to take note of the questions that are being asked, and if they are common questions, you might want to also consider using them as Q&A, as frequently asked questions on your website. Now, your Google Business post, again, this is different than your images. It's free. It's great. I suggest that you kind of map out 2 months and try posting once a week and see what kind of traction you get. Kind of think of it as a free ad. You can use them to promote an event, a service, a condition that you treat, a blog post. anything you want. Like I said, once a week is a good starting point. They can be offers, they can be updates, they can be events. And one thing that's important to note is always add a call to action. The call to action should drive traffic to your website or just be a strict call to action to book an appointment. You can, again, select the button, which either learn more, book now, but don't select none. That doesn't sound very well. Do not select the option none. Select either learn more or book, and if it's book, obviously drive it to your booking page. Products. I have had a number of clinics ask if they should add products. Sometimes adding products, if it fits your business, will help with your listing, even if the product offering is a free assessment or a virtual meeting or a virtual appointment. So if you feel like you can work that into your business, it is something to test and see if you see any additional traction because you've added products. So we've talked about what you should do on your Google Business Profile listing, but what actions should you take on your website? Well, overall, you do want to make sure that you're using proper local SEO on your website to help improve your rankings. You want to make sure that your website is easy to use and responsive, follows all best SEO practices, and that absolutely your name, address, and phone number match on your website with your Google Business Profile listing. You also want to embed a Google map on your website. And let's dive into a little bit about your Google Insights here as we kind of start to wrap some things up. So again, your Google Insights, which are the analytics that your Google Business Profile provides you, are not Google Analytics, but they do show you how customers find your business, the search queries that they use, and where people are finding you, and then what actions they're taking. Direction requests, phone calls, etc. And this would be found under the Performance tab of your Google Business Profile listing. And you only have access to this if you have a verified Google Business Profile listing. So we'll look at a couple of screenshots here. The overview. Now, this is something important. If you're still with me here and you by chance have a bilingual company, please give me a shout out in the chat if that is you. If your business is bilingual, you will see here on the overview when it's listing the keyword phrases that people are searching, you will see both languages for the keyword terms that people are searching. Another note on that, if your company is bilingual, you want to make sure that in the Q&A, I would ask and answer questions in both languages and try to gather testimonials in both languages. We've seen spikes if, for example, in the Miami area, people leaving reviews in Spanish helps get more Spanish-driven website traffic. So just kind of consider that. If you are bilingual, again, go in and fill out the Q&A, ask and answer the question in all languages individually. And also, I would do that with your services as well. So let's just say, again, bilingual Spanish. Under chiropractic care, you do chiropractic adjustment, the title and description in English, and then in Spanish. Again, I didn't exactly know where to work that in. So sorry if that kind of seemed like I went off on a little tangent there. Okay. In Insights, we'll also see calls, bookings, directions, website clicks. And again, here, what we're talking about is really optimizing your listing so you can stand out from your competition. And then I just kind of wrote down a couple notes here to make sure that if I forgot to mention these earlier, but we did talk about the doctor versus the business listing and how to handle a bilingual listing. But I think from this, you can really see how taking a small amount of time to devote to your Google Business Profile listing can help lead to big rewards. Is there more to SEO than what we covered today? Absolutely. If you are not already a member of Ready Set Rank, would love for you to join us. Or if you're interested in our done for you or done with you services, please don't hesitate to set up a call to learn more about those. And as always, you can tune into the Clinic Marketing Podcast. We have several episodes specifically dedicated to Google Business Profile topics, along with others. Well, I want to thank you so much for hanging out with me today. And that is it for this. Because we had the little issue at the beginning, we're gonna have to cut this before we send it to you to listen to the replay. Hopefully we can get that out tomorrow. If not, it will be out Wednesday. Thank you so much for everybody who joined, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. Goodbye for now.